Hey guys, it's Daisy and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to start this video by showing you guys an overview of all the products and brushes and stuff like that I will be using today. I didn't do that in my last video, so I made sure I did that in this video. So I skipped the part of me applying my foundation and concealer and my eyebrows just because I will have a video completely dedicated to that in like a week or two. So I'm just gonna start off with my eyes. I'm using the same palette that I used in my last video, which is the Morphe 35W palette. It's my most absolute favorite palette in the entire world. It's so universal. There's so many great shades, so many transition colors. And with this look, I'm gonna start with a brownish shade, but you can use any shade of color you want. It doesn't have to be brown. It could be whatever color you want. And I'm going to be using a stippling blending brush by this drugstore brand called Essential Techniques, and it's a stippling blending brush. And I'm going to start in my outer corner and really make sure that I apply the most pigment of color on the outside of my eye, and then once I see that there's not much product left on the brush, I'm gonna take that to the rest of the crease. And then I'm taking a darker brown and using my Morphe M513 blending brush to do the exact same thing that I did with the stippling blending brush, but with a denser brush and a darker color. I really want the outer corner of my eye to be the most pigmented just because I like how that looks in my eyes. I don't have the biggest eyes in the entire world, so by doing this technique, it makes your eyes look a little bit wider and more open and a little bit larger than they really are, just because it gives it that like contouring shade. As you can see, my eyes are pretty small. I wish I had larger eyes, but hey, I gotta work with what I got. So now I'm taking a darker shade of brown. I used all browns in this look today and they kept on getting darker. I think this shade that I applied was not from the Morphe 35W palette. This was a Mary Kay shadow that I got. I think it's in the shade Driftwood. Yes, it's in the shade Driftwood. It's by Mary Kay, and it's a cool tone brown, so it's not going to be a warm shade. It's going to be something a little bit more dark and cool toned, which I really don't like how it looks on my eyes by itself, but I made it work because I have so many warm toned browns already, so I thought it would look okay. And as you can see, of course, I start in the outer corner. I pack that color on the outside first, and then I slowly start to blend it and go inwards. And then right now I notice that my left eye is looking darker than my right one, so I apply a little bit more color to that right eye. You don't want your eyes to look uneven, so I went back and fixed that. You really want to make sure that you go in there and blend everything out. You don't want any harsh lines. You don't want things to look weird or choppy. So I really take my time in this blending process, as so you should as well. So just make sure that there's no harsh lines and that everything is nice and blended. And I did get fallout as usual. It just happens. And here is when I'm going to pack on color to the lid, but for some reason it didn't show at all. But I'm going to tell you the shade that I used. It's another Mary Kay shadow. You can use any type of coppery eyeshadow shimmer that you have. It doesn't even have to be an eyeshadow. It could be a pigment or whatever, but I used a copper toned color. And I applied false lashes, and I lined my lash line with a little bit of liquid liner by Kat Von D in the shade Trooper, but for some reason it did not record, or maybe I just accidentally cut it out. But anyways, I am now applying blush and blending everything down because I messed up a little bit and applied a little bit too much bronzer down my neck, and so I'm trying to fix it. But I applied some blush. I really like to use coral blushes just because it complements my skin tone. I don't want to use anything that's too dark or too bright. So now I am applying highlighter. Now I'm going to use 3 different highlights, and it's completely unnecessary, but the first one here that I am applying is a Physicians Formula highlighter in the shade Translucent Pearl, and it's a very nice sheer highlight color. It really looks natural, and it's just super subtle, and it looks like you're glowing from within, and it's just really pretty. And I'm applying it with my fingertips just because I don't want it to be super powdery on my skin. And I am now going in with Champagne Pop by Becca, of course. And I also had applied a highlighter that comes in this Baked Sculpting Trio by Sephora in the shade Medium, and it's like a trio palette with like a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight, and I use the highlight shade as well with my fingertips. And to apply the Becca highlighter, I'm using an e.l.f. fan brush. I think this fan brush is really good, and it only cost me like $3, I want to say, so that's really good. And of course I'm taking my time blending everything out just so that it is not super cakey and powdery. And I am applying a lipstick. This is the Maybelline matte lipstick in the shade 691 Rich Ruby. I did not apply a lip liner with this lipstick, but I don't think I needed to. It's sometimes a little bit hard to work with lipsticks if you don't use a liner, but it turned out pretty good without a lip liner, so I was really satisfied. I love this shade. I love any type of a true red lip color. I absolutely love. So I'm just contemplating whether or not this video turned out to be good, and I ended up saying that I didn't like it, but we gotta work with what we got, you guys. So that is the end of this video. If you guys have any requests, please comment down below. I would really appreciate comments and stuff like that. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.